Namaskar, my dear friends and dear fans, and all you lovely people that have been supporting me throughout. Today's tutorial is about a composition that I have played many times, and the greatest of ustads and masters of tabla have played. It's a very, very, very famous composition. It's called Lamchhar Rela. The reason I'm doing this tutorial today for you is because many of you have asked me to explain how this bowl works, what the syllables are, and how the composition is formed. And so I decided to make an exclusive tutorial on this particular Rela. It is very, very famous. It has been played by everybody, starting from Ustad Ahmed Khan Sahab to all the great Farrukhabad Ustads, the Lucknow Ustads, Ustad Zakir Hussain, of course, and many, many more. I really cannot think of a limited number of people who've played this. Everybody plays this, and everybody has their different take on it. So let's get right into it. First of all, the name Lamchhar Rela comes from the term Lamchhar means le chhodkar, which means outside the realm of tempo, outside the confines of the tempo. Le chhodkar, and from that I think regional dialect came into place, and eventually the name became Lamchhar Rela. The reason this is called Lamchhar Rela is because you will notice whenever people play this Rela, as opposed to any other Rela, let's say we are playing any other Rela, for example. So So what we do is we play the Rela in half tempo, and then we play the Rela in twice the speed or double tempo. In the case of Lamchhar Rela, we don't do that. If you have noticed carefully, what we do is we make a pattern which mimics the flow of the Lamchhar Rela at a denomination which is 1/4 in terms of beat divisions. And we make a pattern that kind of has a similar flow and a similar groove to that of the Lamchhar Rela. And when the Lamchhar Rela comes in at the high speed, you will never hear somebody playing the dialed down half tempo version of the Lamchhar Rela. Now the question is why? Why don't we do that, and why is it an exception in the case of this particular Rela? That is the secret I'll be revealing to you today. It's actually pretty simple. The Lamchhar Rela is it's a slightly dishonest composition, for lack of a better word. Now, what I mean by dishonest is not that it was done by cheating somebody or something, but the thing is that if you actually take the Rela down in tempo, you will see that at half tempo it doesn't really make much sense. I'll tell you why. So here is what we play when we play the Lamchhar Rela. We start with da, din, din, da, 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 din, din, da, da, din, din, da, da, din, da, din, din, da, 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 din, din, da, din, din, da, da, din, din, da, 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 din, din, da. Now, if you think about what the Lamchhar Rela actually is, and we dial it down and analyze it at the slowest possible tempo, the Lamchhar Rela actually goes like dha tirikita tak din tirikita tak dha tirikita 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 dha. So dha tirikita tak din tirikita tak dha tirikita 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 dha. The division of the tirikita tak, dha tirikita tak din tirikita tak dha tirikita tak din tirikita tak dha tirikita even division. And the third phrase is dha teri teke. So dha teri teke din dha teri teke din dha. There is a little unexplained gap in between the dha teri teke din dha teri teke dha teri teke din dha. So now what happens is, if you play this at a slower tempo, it doesn't really make much sense, and it doesn't have a great amount of musical relevance or aesthetic relevance. But what happens is, when you double the tempo of this, the difference between dha terikitatak and dha terikite is so minute that it can be ignored, and it is hardly ever distinguishably heard by the human ear. So dha as the speed increases, you will see that the discrepancy between the first two phrases dha terikitatak din terikitatak and the last one, which is dha terikite, starts to minimize. The difference, the perception of that one syllable that is missing from the last phrase starts to become unnoticeable. So eventually, so that is the big secret behind the Lamchhar Rela. It is that there is a dha terikitatak dha terikitatak dha terikitatak 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 dha terikitatak dha terikitatak dha terikitatak. So there is a discrepancy between the first two phrases and the last phrase. So that is why, first of all, this is called a Lamchhar Rela, because the lay, or the division of beat, lay doesn't actually mean division of beats, but the tempo at which each phrase should be played is adjusted. There is an adjustment that is being made, and the reason this composition sounds nice is because at a certain speed that adjustment cannot be distinguished anymore. You cannot tell the difference between how many notes exactly are being played on the last phrase and how many notes are being played on the first two phrases. So that is the secret between Lamchhar Rela. Now there are different divisions of the Lamchhar Rela that are played. For example, so on and so forth. But the essential bowl is dha terikitatak din terikitatak dha terikitatak dha terikitatak din terikitatak dha terikitatak dha terikitatak din terikitatak dha terikitatak. So the reason it is not revealed is because if we play it at that speed, people will notice that there is a adjustment in the beat division and the tempo, the lay division that is supposed to be happening at that speed. So I hope this tutorial has been helpful. This is my 2 cents on the understanding of the Lamchhar Rela. Thank you again for joining me. I will be back again next week with another tutorial video. And please, once again, hit the subscribe button, support the channel. And if you have any other questions or things that you would like me to cover in the tutorial series that I'm doing, please leave your comments. And let me know if there is something that I'm not explaining properly. I will try my best to come across and make things clear for you. So that was my 2 cents on Lamchhar Rela. Until the next tutorial, please stay safe, stay well. I will see you next week.